I can fit liner chemical. Get yourself here. This has got reflective thermal. And super fantastic. Has our strong mints. Put it in the little Nalgene. Rock solid. You're going to be appalled at how much money I spent on the next item. Should have picked 4 trees slightly closer together. Oh, should have put this up slightly higher. Okay, and number 1 on my list is this, the DD Tarp's Magic Carpet. It's a tiny little tarp that works really well as a sit mat. You can put some cords on it and quickly tie it to trees for some rain cover. Forecast gave rain, so it might start raining in the middle of this. I thought I'm gonna make this video anyway, yeah. And that is number 1 on my list. These are in no particular order, by the way, but on my list of 20 outdoor bits of kit, gear, and gadgets that I'm looking forward to using in 2023. Some of this stuff might be obvious to you, some of it I've used before, but some of it's new to me as well, and some of it, I guarantee you, will surprise you. And cost-wise, it ranges from a few pounds up to maybe around 100. Number 2 then is this, my beloved chest rig. I discovered chest rigs for the first time last year, and as an outdoors filmmaker, someone who needs access to maybe multiple small cameras and attachments and drones, this is amazing. I can fit, you can see there's a DVD there. I can fit the DJI Mini 3 in this, plus a controller, plus a GoPro, plus a 360 camera. I can fit a lens in it. In fact, 15 of today's items are in this pack. I used an Osprey one before, but I've moved on to this one, the Helicon one, because I slightly prefer it. It's just slightly better laid out for me. So you've got the stretchy pocket on the front here that I can shove my phone down the inside. This thing pretty much lives on me now during outdoor shoots when I need to carry quite a bit more kit with me. In winter, you can put my gloves in it, I can put my hats on it, I can put my hand warmers in it, I can put my food in it, and you're not trying to rely on those hip belts and bags, which you can never fit very much in, or having to take your bag off every time you need access to stuff, or stuffing your jacket full of stuff, and then kind of bumfuling all around. I think capacity-wise, it's got about 5 litres or so. So I combine this with a smaller backpack now, and I get a lot of my kit in this, and it does me really well. Okay, let's, here comes the wind. Hopefully that's not the rain. I couldn't get this any higher because I'm on a slope here. We're gonna continue. Who cares? Right, let's get on. That was number 2. Let's go on to number 3. We'll just open this up and go through it item by item. There's some of them I do want to do in a specific order. Okay. Let's look at these. This is a pair of gloves. Might seem kind of obvious to you, but these specifically are a pair of super thin merino wool liner gloves. Look how thin they are. They're really thin. Now you might think these are pretty rubbish, but actually, if you combine these with a larger pair of gloves, it works really well. It keeps your hands really warm. But I've actually found, here's my hack, in cold weather down to like even sub-zero temperatures, if I wear these really thin liner gloves, they've got touch sensitive tips, so you can operate your phone, all your gadgets. Combine them with a couple of these, which is item 4 on my list. I'm gonna forget these, number 4. Hand warmers, chemical hand warmers. You open up the packet. I'm not gonna open it because it activates, that's a waste. But you get 2 of these in a packet, and they're these little white squares that when exposed to air, there's just like chemical reaction happens inside. It's just like iron filings and charcoal, or I don't know exactly, but you get 8 hours of heat off these. I find if I wear thin gloves, plus 1 of these down each glove, I can be out for hours in really cold temperatures. My hands don't get cold, and as a filmmaker, that's great because I can operate my cameras. If it does get really cold, I'll stick another pair of, another pair of gloves on the top. And the other thing these hand warmers are fantastic for, and I've been using for a few years now, is if you're camping and your sleeping bag is maybe a season too cold, take 1 or 2 of these, activate them about an hour before you're going to go to bed, chuck them in the bottom of your sleeping bag, and they are a constant source of heat the entire night. Fantastic. Right. What else is in here? Right. This might seem obvious, but this is a mosquito net, but it's not just any mosquito net. It's specifically a midge and mosquito net, because if you can remember, I had some horrendous experiences last year. With midges, which are these tiny little biting insects that are found sort of in Ireland and Scotland, and they are just the worst. But the problem is they're smaller than mosquitoes, so if you buy a standard mosquito head net and wear it, when you're being attacked by midges, they will get straight through the mesh and straight into your eye sockets, which is exactly what happened to me. They're really cheap, like £3. If you're planning to go anywhere this summer in, you know, more than northerly parts of Ireland and Scotland especially, get yourself a midge net and you will save yourself a world of pain. Next, kind of an obvious one, because I just like to always emphasize safety, is a first aid kit. If you're going out anywhere, especially on your own, and to be honest, in a group, always have some kind of small first aid kit with you. God, that's a compound fracture. The bone is sticking out, arterial bleeding. Oh, that's a genuine injury. This has got all the basics on it. It's got bandages, it's got stickers, it's got a few wound dressings. And then I always add in, I've got a few painkillers in there. So I've added in paracetamol, ibuprofen. And then because I'm allergic to wasps, I've added in some antihistamines. I'm not allergic enough that, you know, I need an EpiPen, but, and I also have hay fever. So kind of, I customize it to my specific own medication and just make sure there's enough items in that. So yeah, first aid kit. Right, let's see, another one on that same note of safety is this. This is a foil bivvy. It's basically a sleeping bag made of reflective thermal material, which if you're out on your own, you break your ankle, break your leg, or, you know, or you've come across somebody in that situation, getting inside that or putting somebody else inside that could save their life while they're waiting for rescue to come. Right, what else? I'll quickly look at this. This is one of my most used bits of kit. I've mentioned it before. This is a salmon water filter bottle, and I've drunk hundreds of litres through this and avoided countless bouts of diarrhea, which is always, you know, quite high up on my list. But this consists of a sort of fiber-based water filter. So I fill this from river. I put this in the top, and then you can drink straight from it, slurp, 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 or you can. Well, you can take the rubber tip off the end like that, turn it upside down and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze and fill up your other bottles. Absolutely essential bit of kit for me. I don't go anywhere without this, especially in the summer. Right, what else we got in here? Oh, this is an interesting one. I got this for Christmas. I haven't really used it yet. I can't wait to use it. It's a light, but it's not just any light. It's a candle lantern, which I'm going to try and light. This is a little tiny folder, UCO candle lantern. These have been about for a long time, and I've just never used one. This is what we used before we had torches, and I just thought it looks cool. It's not going to be any brighter than a torch, but it has a candle in there which will light for 9 hours. You slide the glass down like that, and then you can light your candle. See how I'm doing this all with the gloves on? You light your candle. I should probably have turned my back to the wind. Once the candle gets going, pull up the glass, and you then have a little windproof candle that you can hang by your campsite during the night. I'm really looking forward to using this for a forest camp. And then to extinguish it, there's a little extinguisher built on the top. You just push it down, and that's it out. How cool is that? It's like, it's not modern at all. It's like really old technology, but there's something about it I just really, really like. Oh, bonus item. Always carry a tiny bic with you. What number was that? Oh no. Okay, I've forgotten what number we're on. Well, forget about the numbers. I'll just put them on the bottom of the screen. Oh, such a bad memory. Okay, next up, on the lighting. We've got a few things on lighting. Decent head torch. This is my favorite all-round head torch. If you just want a head torch, this is BioLite 425. I've reviewed this separately for running. Super, super fantastic. Single strap, really, really wide, really comfortable, no bounce. Red light in the back. It's got spot mode, it's got dim mode. Maximum, it'll last for 60 hours on the lowest setting, about 4 hours on the highest. I kind of keep it on medium and get 10, 15 hours out of it. This is the one I always take camping and I'll take all my runs. BioLite make another range of head torches, but this one hits the sweet spot for me. Love that TED lamp. Love it! Right, another light now. This, you'll have seen this. This is the Wizard C2WR Army Tech torch. They sent me this to have a look at it. And you can see that it doesn't have the light in the end. It's got the light here. I've never had a torch like this before and kind of fancied it. And on its own, it's actually a really good torch. Let me just activate it. You charge it via the magnetic. It has a magnetic bottom, just like most robots, where you can charge it up, and it's really bright, like really, really bright. But it also has a really, really good red light mode. It's dimmable as well. Let's cycle through. And I really like using red light if I'm somewhere at night, because red light lets you preserve your night vision. So if I'm camping in a forest on my own in the dark or something, I can use the red light, or I can even navigate in the mountains. I want to do a little bit of hiking. But why this sort of torch is so versatile, and this is different from a head torch, is it comes with a clip, and because it's got a clip, because it's vertical, I can clip this straight onto my pack like this, which I did before. There's a little place you can clip it on there, and suddenly it's a chest light. You can clip it on, and you can clip it on, other places as well. But not only that, this comes with a few things. Comes with this, which I'll just quickly chuck this on. You really need to take the clip off for it to work. But it converts it into a head torch. So suddenly it's a head torch. And also you can get this optional bike mount. So it converts into a bike light. There's a handlebar mount, goes in the handlebar. You mount the camera, the light. You mount the light on like this, and then you can cycle along. I can see where I'm going. Yeah. So if you only want a head torch, I'd probably get the BioLite, but this is a really good option if you're wanting like one torch that kind of do everything. Downside with this though, it's tricky to know how much battery's left unless I just haven't been paying attention to the instructions. And it charges via a proprietary magnetic connector, so if your battery runs out, you can't just plug in a USB-C. You have to make sure to have brought that cable with you. But for a tiny little torch, I really like this thing. Right, okay, let's keep going. Next thing then is this little tin, and this is something you can do quite cheaply. This is a mints tin. You can buy some Altoids, or in this case it was Marks and Spencer's strong mints. These are not just any strong mints, these are Marks and Spencer's strong mints. But inside this is just my little tub of personal items. So I have, well, a tiny tube of toothpaste and my little bamboo toothbrush that I cut off. And there's also a pair of contact lenses and some antacids in there, because everything gives me heartburn. But it's just this tiny little tin that has sort of all your, your hygiene essentials in a tin. I put a rubber band around it, keeps it all together. This comes with me on every single camp, and you can put one together yourself and customize it as you wish. Next we have Nalgene bottles, and I'll start with this tiny one. These are plastic bottles that is made of a special plastic, which, well, for start, these things are designed for chemicals and sciencey stuff. So when you screw the lid on, they are leak free. I've bought small plastic bottles in the past, put liquids in them, they spilled inside my bag. Nalgene's will not do that, and they're also heat resistant. Which is great. So I have a whole series of these. I think these are the 60ml ones maybe, and I've got smaller ones as well. I use them to put a spice mix in. I have a couple in my van. I use them to store oil in for cooking. I've got a larger one that in the van that I put my eco-friendly green chemical toilet fluid in. They're just amazingly handy on a hike, and they mean you can hike in our camp, and they mean you can carry a much smaller quantity of something, rather than carrying an entire box of, I don't know, salt or something with you. You can just put it into the little Nalgene. Coffee, sugar, these are great. I love these. Okay. Oh yes, I have another Nalgene I'll show you just while we're here. So this is a water bottle Nalgene. This is a 500ml one. I also have a 1 litre one, and I resisted getting one of these for a long time because they look kind of bulky, but actually I'm a total convert to them. And a total convert for a few reasons. They're rock solid, absolutely rock solid bottles. This one in particular is made from some kind of recycled material. They've got a water level in the front, so if you're cooking and you need to measure out water, you can just use that. It's something I hadn't even considered, but it's so handy. And again, they're totally leak proof. And these ones are rated to take liquids which are over 100 degrees Celsius, so boiling water. What that means is, if you're out, you're camping, and you get cold during the night, you can take your water, pour your water in your saucepan, boil your water, put your boiling hot water back in here, stick it in a sock, and suddenly you have a hot water bottle. I tried that for the first time on my last camping trip, and it was brilliant, absolute revelation. As I said, this is a 500ml one, so this might do for like a day hike, or maybe if you're camping and you know you're camping beside a water source. But I use a larger 1 litre one for carrying as well. Really like these. They're not too expensive. They can be hard to get in the UK, but I haven't come across a better sort of water bottle that can do so many things. Right, next. Okay, this is something I made. Here's something I made earlier. This is a carabiner, still cheap carabiner, and some shock cord. Shock cord looks like power cord, but it's not. It's stretchy, and I put a little loop in that end. I put a loop in that end to put the carabiner on it. Why is this useful? This is great for tying stuff up, or you know, packing stuff up after camp. Don't use this all the time, but if I'm carrying something that's maybe, you know, a bit big and a bit bulky, like a blanket that could be compressed, but it won't really go in a compression sack, I can just take this, wrap it around it, and the band will tighten and kind of compress whatever it is. And I can just take that other end, hook it into the loop. That make a good thumbnail. People will be like, why has he got a green thing in his hand? Hook it into the loop, and it'll compress whatever it is down, and you'll be able to carry it slightly easier. That's cutting off the blood flow to my hand. Better check that off. And there's also other things you can use these for. I've used it for, you could set up a bit of a washing line at camp, although you could use, you know, power cord for that as well. But it's been really useful kind of tying stuff up and securing it. And I keep one of these, don't bring it on every camping trip, but I keep one of these in my van because I find it's quite useful. It's quite useful there. Right, next. What have we got next? Hang on, I'm gonna take these gloves off. Oh, that's everything in there, so we must be getting near the end. Okay, next one. Okay, this isn't a serious item. It's not this, although this could, you know, this could be something. It's little, yeah, let's count this. There's a bonus item. I don't know what number this makes this, but this is just a little pouch, hip pouch, belt pouch that you can put on your belt and carry stuff in. I've used this for if I'm out and I'm going to be camping in a forest. I'll collect tinder in it, but what I use this one for, it's where I keep my slingshot. This is not entirely serious, but I've had slingshots on and off since I was a kid, and they're so much fun. It's a fun skill to learn, and if you're like on a camp and you're going to be there for hours, it can be quite fun to set up like some tins or something and just sit and shoot at them. Although bear in mind that a slingshot is, in the right conditions, a lethal weapon. People do use these to hunt with, so you can't just go using one everywhere. But line up your tin can, or in this case, a tree, and hit it. Slingshot, a lot of fun. Not an essential outdoors item at all, but I keep mine in that pouch. Oh, and if you're interested what this is one from Simple Shot. This is a Simple Shot Sparrow, which is really cheap. It's like 20 quid, which is designed by a world champion slingshot. And oh, if you're a parent watching this, do not buy one for your child. I broke too many windows. Well, okay, I broke one window in my dad's greenhouse. Actually, you know what? My dad is to blame for me having a slingshot because he made my first one out of like the inner tube of a bike. If you're old enough, you'll probably be nodding. Yeah, I remember that. If you take an inner tube of a bike and you slice it up, you can use the rubber to make a slingshot. So, yeah, Dad, you're to blame for this one. Right, what else is left? I think that's nearly it. Oh, two items to go, unless I've forgotten something. Okay, so This is a sleeping bag liner. In this case, this is a silk sleeping bag liner. I don't necessarily recommend you buy a silk sleeping bag liner because it's expensive. This is a Rab one. This was nearly 60 quid. But I'm not going to take it out. But it's basically a thin, really thin sleeping bag cocoon. And they say a liner will add a season to your sleeping bag. This one does not add a season to your sleeping bag because I tried it recently with like a 3-season bag and it did not make it into a 4-season bag. But using one of these will add about 2-3 degrees of temperature to your sleeping bag. It will also keep it clean. And then the other thing I find it's useful for is if you're camping and you're a bit warm and you open up your sleeping bag and maybe you want to use your sleeping bag as a quilt, but then your skin's against the cold mat. You can lay this out and kind of use it as a really thin blanket. Now, this one doesn't add that much heat, but I've also got a larger fleece one, and that fleece one will apparently add 18 degrees, which probably means it adds about 7 degrees. But yeah, using a liner can be part of a layered solution for your sleep system, rather than buying, like, I've got a summer bag, I've got a winter bag, and you end up with loads and loads of different sleeping bags. You can get one kind of, you know, warmish sleeping bag, and then you can layer up in the winter, and then you can maybe have one bag that you can use pretty much all year round, and in the winter you can layer it up. So you can maybe have a liner on the inside and you can put a quilt over the top. That way you're having a layered sleeping solution rather than, you know, trying to have multiple sleeping bags. Last thing is also on heat and comfort. This is ridiculous. You're going to be appalled at how much money I spent on the next item. Okay, give me a second. It's in this little bag. Didn't come with this bag. Didn't even come with a storage bag. Or did it come? Maybe it did. Maybe just left it in the box. Hang on, let me get these out. Okay, so these are electric socks. Electrically heated socks. I'll show you one just here. And I bought these because, I don't know if I just did pure circulation, but I have chronically cold feet in colder weather. I layer up my socks. I have a thin sock, a warm sock. Well, it doesn't matter what I do. I even put the warmers in my boots, but they just make my feet uncomfortable. No matter what I do, if I'm out for long enough and the weather's cold, I get freezing cold feet. My hands have a similar problem, but these are electric socks. You charge up these battery packs. You plug her in. There's a little pouch on the side of the socky do that it goes into, and then you switch on, and you've got one, two, 3 different power settings. I'm not sure how it works. I think there's like a network of cables or something. I don't know how it works, but it's like an electric blanket for your feet. This bottom pad heats up, and this will give me between 4 and 10 hours of heat, depending on what setting I use. And these cost me over £100. These are heat performance ones, but they also come with a remote control. This is not a car key, this is a remote control, so I can control the heat of my feet with this little boop, boop, this little, I can control the heat of my feet with this little petite remote control. Push that button, full heat, that button, medium heat, that button, low heat. I'm gonna turn these off. But these things have worked so well already. I did a camp recently, I was up on top of the summit, it was very, very cold, but my feet were warm, and normally in those conditions I would have been absolutely freezing. I'm gonna give these a better test someday, where I'm gonna put one on and switch the other foot off and see how long it takes before my other foot gets freezing. But it's an expensive solution, but if you're someone who spends a lot of time out and about, and maybe it's part of your job, you know, maybe you can justify buying a pair of over £100 socks. There are cheaper versions of these on Amazon, but my problem is being in Northern Ireland, Amazon don't ship anything that comes with a lithium battery, so I had to order these more expensive ones, which, considering I've got a lithium battery strapped to my calf, and a lithium battery is a potential bomb if something goes wrong, this is how I'm justifying spending the extra money. But that was the final item on my 20 items. I think I might have gone over 20 items, 20 outdoor bits of gear that I'm looking forward to using throughout 2023. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all the channel members who support this channel, and thanks to all the subscribers who have subscribed and are watching. And maybe someday I'll catch you out in the middle of the woods underneath a tiny little tarp. And it didn't even rain. I put this tarp up, it's completely ruined my shot, effectively, because that would have looked so much better if that wasn't there the whole time. Oh well. Right, anyway, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, and this particular tarp, I'll show you this because I'm super lazy. The cords I put in this is like ultra thin DD tarp cord, but I put these little tarp ties on the end, which means you don't even have to tie knots, you just wick it around the tree and hook it in and it's secured.